Humanity has many unsolved questions. Of these, the most interesting can be found in the ocean. Right there, where men struggle to reach the bottom of the most absolute darkness, the greatest of all enigmas arises. No one knows precisely what lies in the ocean trenches or what secrets we might find by penetrating those unexplored corners, but the idea is extremely seductive. This unknown world leaves the door open for many horrifying questions. What if creatures we believe to be extinct are hiding there? What if the depths of the ocean are actually the lair of animals that have survived centuries of catastrophes? What if we find out that an ocean monster is not only alive, but far from being alone, and it's accompanied by unimaginable horrors? Perhaps there are no answers to this question, but if you dare to discover the terrifying creature that could be lurking in the depths of our oceans, you'd better join us as we dive into this mystery. There are situations that no one wants to experience under any circumstances, and facing a monstrous sea creature that can't even be classified is certainly one of them. The idea of a huge prehistoric killing machine prowling the depths of the sea is terrifying. But it is even more so when it emerges from the darkness to terrorize the poor unfortunate souls in its path. What animal or creature could ever do such a thing? No doubt white sharks or whales have enough capabilities to terrify anyone. But if you're on a boat, you could hardly fear them. However, what would happen if this beast were capable of tearing a boat apart? Then everything changes, and the only monster that can do this is none other than the gigantic prehistoric predator called Carcharodon megalodon. Megalodons are considered to be the deadliest predators that ever existed. They were built like a gigantic shark that tore apart all marine fauna in the Cenozoic era 28 million years ago. It usually reached a length of up to 80 feet, and its jaw exerted such a strong pressure that it could tear a bus apart with a single bite. In addition, its gigantic teeth, which were as long as the forearm of a full-grown man, ensured that not a single prey could escape its ferocity. Of course, the idea of this enormous killing machine being found underwater is still, for many, a mere exaggeration taken from some fantasy story. But the reality seems to go further than what some estimate. In fact, numerous sightings of these creatures are recorded every year. Most of the stories are told by fishermen or veterans of the sea. People who are hardly frightened by the presence of a shark of disproportionate size. However, there are some findings that stand out and allow us to analyze with greater precision if megalodons still exist, or if they are simply an invention of social media. One of the most emblematic cases that point to the survival of the megalodon in our times occurred in the year 1875. At that time, the British ship HMS Challenger was close to the Tahitian seabed. The exploration was proving to be interesting, but nothing that could be classified as an extraordinary find. Although that changed in a matter of seconds. The exploration team stumbled upon a well-preserved and dangerously monstrous jawbone. The fossil remains were a terrifying sight. But after laboratory analysis, they were found to belong to a megalodon and were only 10,000 years old. For many, the finding is revealing. It would mean megalodons existed long after their supposed extinction, so the possibility that several of them survived is still a reality. Over time, other laboratories conducted different tests and contradicted the research. Although there is no doubt that the megalodon remains are more recent than one might expect. Beyond this interesting evidence, the sightings are significant for modern megalodon history. For example, locals in the Sea of Cortez in Mexico have been familiar with the sharks in the area for generations. Every year, fishermen compete to catch the largest creature, and as recently as 2012, a team managed to catch a 6-meter-long white shark weighing 6,000 kilograms. For these people, sea creatures are as familiar as breathing, but that doesn't stop them from fearing for their lives when something unusual appears. In fact, since the last 20 years, some encounters with supernatural specimens have been recorded. They are creatures that are closer to the monstrous than reality, reaching up to 18 meters in length and having a destructive capacity never seen before. Since the first encounter, the locals have nicknamed them Black Devils, and not only have they been recorded on the beaches of the place, but numerous attacks and collisions have been reported against fishing boats that have barely managed to return alive to the docks of the city. However, those sightings have not only occurred in Mexico. Throughout the world, there are numerous people who claim to have encountered these black demons. One of the most interesting accounts comes from naturalist David Steed, who recorded the testimony of a group of fishermen from Broughton Island, New Zealand, in his book Sharks and Rays of the Australian Sea. It happened in 1918 during an afternoon when they were returning from fishing in the area. There wasn't much marine movement that day, which was extremely strange since it was a zone where marine life proliferated. It was as if something had spooked the fish, and they soon discovered who had done it. The creature emerged in the middle of the darkness when the sun was already setting. The blow was so violent that the boat lurched. The team of fishermen immediately tried to find out who was responsible for the attack, but when they saw it, they did not believe what their eyes saw. The beast was enormous, a shark so large and with such a monstrous jaw that it could not be real. The beast tried to tear the boat apart, but the metal managed to withstand the pressure. Immediately, the group sped up the boat, and with great happiness, they lost sight of the shark. When they reached the shore, everyone could see the teeth and bite marks. It had been real. Of course, there are hundreds of stories similar to this one. They have occurred in Australia and South Africa, in the United States, and even off the coast of Antarctica. No matter where you go, there is always a spooky tale of a creature that no one wants to encounter. But once it appears, it's never forgotten again. No one knows exactly if megalodons are still alive and hiding in the deep sea. But one thing is for sure, if they are indeed still sharing the ocean with us, something is forcing them to emerge from their deep-sea lairs. It seems that every year we are getting closer to stumbling upon the truth, and many are just waiting for us to be ready to face the most savage and deadly predator we have ever known. However, the megalodon does not seem to be the only creature we should fear. At the bottom of the ocean, there are terrifying species that could destroy us in a matter of seconds. You don't know who they are? Then you'd better join us to meet them in the following videos. But we warn you one thing. After meeting these creatures, you will surely choose the next beach you are going to visit on your next vacation very carefully.